Sup guys, so just the outlook for the week ahead. EU's in a really iffy kind of spot at the moment. I'm still sitting just above this demand point, nothing overly significant, but just our next demand point the price is coming up to. Obviously, at the moment, working aside, this is our 4 hour leg, and this is our most recent bearish leg. Price has obviously started to step its way back up, but then failed to continue pushing through and has started to work its way back down. It has come back down and mitigated a 15-minute point at the extreme end of this range. So we are coming to demand before getting to any significant supply zones. So in terms of actually following with the structure cycle, it's moving quite clean. The issue with EU at the moment is just how it's consolidating. This is just shit. There's nothing we can really do with any of that. Just needed to start forming some structure. If we can push up and break this high, we can start to look at it as potentially doing a bit of a whack two leg on the 15-minute. Not really much to trade from or anything like that. Just more so going to be observing price on EU coming into the week. The big thing we've got to consider with it is reacting out of this area a lot of times. Like this whole area here, we've been down there once, twice, three, four, 5 times. So the chances of this area holding are pretty slim, especially given that, yes, it's had a good initial reaction out of there. However, we just haven't got the follow through. So just going to be observing it coming into the week. But in terms of what makes sense structurally, it does make sense to buy up from this point. The next option, if we're going to be looking for sells, where I'm going to be looking for is the inducement of this high into this mitigation, which is a demand to supply area. So looking for there as my next area to sell from. Buying, I'm not really interested in buying this until I start to get a bit more structure, something a little bit cleaner to be able to work with. Potentially, if we come up and break this high, might be able to start looking. There might be like some sort of supply to demand on like a 15-minute or 5 minute time frame in there. But other than that, I'm really not looking for anything at the moment on EU unless we come down and induce all of this. If we come down and take all this area out, come into here, happy to start buying, even just off the inducement of that, happy to start looking for buyers. But yeah, just gonna be patient coming into the week with EU.
Beautiful.
Cool.
Alrighty, I will start with AU. So AU, we're in a bit of a tricky spot on the 4 hour. We're in this bullish range from basically this low to this high, and we've just been working in that the entire time. So as this goes on and this happens, it's really just showing that sellers just don't have the goods to throw this thing down. Okay. The longer we stay in this range, it's a constant battle and it becomes more 50-50. We are taking liquidity from the upside and pushing down. That's the only thing I like at the moment. So I am expecting that we could possibly do the same thing one more time and push down to take liquidity to then push back up and continue with that bullish order flow to the upside. So oftentimes when you keep taking liquidity from one side and building liquidity to the other side, it normally means that it's building one side to come take later. So that's something to keep in mind there. Now, as for our intraday, what we're going to be looking at, we've obviously got the supply at the top, which did not break structure, it just broke internal structure. Possibly could get a sell out of that into a buy. We've got to remember that those buys definitely are still the way to go. So looking at the range here, we've pushed up, broken internal structure again, and we did not react out of the supply. So not reacting out of the supply is a good thing to me. It just shows we've had that break of structure. It's not like we had a big reaction and melt, and that's a clear inducement. I see it as a break of structure. So now I'm happy to actually buy into this supply again. What's happened here? If we've actually got, there's a supply to demand point that was created here. If I jump down to the 15-minute, you'll actually see what happened out of this. Basically, out of this point, which is right here, which we were looking at come Friday, we actually created equal lows, which is a clear sign of manipulation. We've then pushed up, induced some more buyers, and pushed down into this supply to demand here. Now, this supply to demand holds a little bit more, like less weight in price, as it's not a big point in one, and it didn't do a lot. But being that we induced this point, I had that external inducement of that demand, I was more than happy to look here. Funnily enough, we actually had an entry here. This was too late for anyone to be up anyway, but we did have one of our A+ ups play out in here with a very small stop loss. So all I'm looking for now is some bullish confirmations. Unfortunately, with how aggressive we were to the downside, we've got this small internal range that's on the 10-minute. We can't really treat that as a 15-minute high. So all I'm looking for now, which is just to pull back, push up, and show a clear two-leg to the upside on the 15-minute. That would give me clear directional bias that we could be coming to at least target these equal highs, this liquidity built here, and target into that supply to possibly sell. If not, if EU and GU break up again and continue that bullish confirmations to the upside, I will be treating this as a breaker structure. So in a bit of a waiting period at the moment with AU, unfortunately. So like I said, we either want to come into here and push up and show some bullish confirmations, or we'll keep selling. That it is an option. This is a supply point. It is a supply to the demand to supply, sorry. And it could possibly just keep selling out of this. So that's something to understand as well. So a bit 50-50 at the moment with AU. Will take a couple of days into the week to set up that price action for us. Now, as for the best pair we should be looking at this week is GU. So jumping on the higher time frame, I'll actually jump on the daily. We've had a clear inducement into our external supply up here on the daily. And then we've broken to the downside a couple of times. So we broke this internal low here, pull down, liquidity, pull up, pull down, clear break of structure. Okay, so that clear break of structure now tells us that we are looking to sell off. Well, at least you would expect to, especially on the daily time frame. So jumping down to those lower time frames, what have we done? We've induced this 4-hour low here, obviously broken to the downside, but we know grabbing that 4-hour liquidity, we could possibly get that retracement. Okay, the markets aren't just going to keep melting and keep going like this. They will do retracement. So coming into the week, we're going to look for that retracement. So we just need those bullish signs, which we've gotten here. Break of structure to the upside. Actually, a really good setup in terms of an intraday setup. We can have that clear manipulation here, creating internal structure on the 15-minute. We've got higher high, a lower low here, and then a higher high up here. As we're just creating that great structure there. Push down into here, we'll have that 15-minute inducement, which was one of our confirmations, into our mitigation, which is another confirmation, based on our reaching demand before supply in the end extreme of a range, break of structure, the upside, coming to this demand before we reach any supplies, we can look to buy and expect that this is a bullish confirmation. This is just that prime retracement to continue that buy. So unfortunately, this wick is not looking too favorable in our position. You may find that market opens here and the setup happens on market open or happens during Asian session. We will be looking, but best case scenario, we react off here, build some liquidity, possibly even break this high and build retest liquidity for that 15-minute retest liquidity entry, push down in here London time and use that volatility to buy to the upside, possibly to keep selling. You've got supply here, or you've got liquidity here. Okay, so we have high time frame targets. Buys will be the go come into the week. Obviously, we may just find that the market open and it just does this. Then we will have to reestablish and have a look and find a new focus coming for the week. But that's basically what I'm looking at coming into Monday. Quite simple and easy. I think this is definitely out of all three pairs, this is the one we should be watching at least coming into Monday.